Hi, welcome to the ActiveCount100 training video series. This tutorial applies to both the ActiveCount100 and ActiveCount100H viable samplers from Lighthouse Worldwide Solutions. Today we'll be getting familiar with the main screen, as well as learning how to view and export data records and select and edit users and locations. The ActiveCount100 has the ability to store 400 locations and 50 users, as well as store comprehensive data records to the USB memory flash drive. First, let's get familiar with the main screen. On the main screen, we have access to data records, instrument settings, and sample configurations, start and stop button, users, and locations. At the top of the main screen, we have a status bar that indicates your currently selected sample volume, icons that indicate USB memory stick presence, AC adapter presence, and battery level indicator. We have another status bar at the bottom of the screen that shows the current date and time, as well as the currently selected location name and username. At the center of the screen, we have a large countdown timer that represents the total amount of time that it will take to complete your sample, as well as two progress bars. The top progress bar indicates the current sampling step. So in our case, the first step is a 5-second delay. The second progress bar indicates the volume of air sampled so far. Before you start your sample, ensure that your location name and username is selected. To select a username, click on the User button and select your username from this list of 50 names. You can use the scroll bar to navigate up and down this list and find your name. When you find your name, highlight your name and press OK. If you need to add a new name to the list, highlight an unused name and hit the Edit button. And now you can type in a new name. You will do the same thing to select a location. Press on the Location button and select your location from this list of 400 location names. Again, you might need to scroll down to find your location name. Or you can add a new location name by highlighting an unused location and changing the name. So I will call this location room C. Now we'll highlight that room and press OK. And now I have on the main screen indication that John is sampling in room C. Now I can start my sample by pressing the Start button. After a 5-second delay, my sample will start. If I want to abort the sample, I can always press the Stop button. Now that sampling is complete, the data record is automatically generated and stored onto the USB memory device. If I want to view the data record, I can take my USB memory and plug it into a computer, or I can view it directly on the main screen by going to the Data Record button. And here I have complete information about my sample record. I have the start date and the start time, the location and user, sample duration and flow duration, air volume, number of cycles, and general instrument status. Now, if we, for whatever reason, wanted to export this record to the USB stick manually, we can do that by pressing the Export button. Now, usually you will not need to do this because the ActiveCount100 automatically exports data records at the end of each sample. So let's return to the main screen by pressing the Home button. This concludes our training video on the main screen functions of the ActiveCount100 and ActiveCount100H. For more information, visit our website at www.golighthouse.com. Thank you for watching. Hi, welcome to the ActiveCount100 training video series. This tutorial applies to both the ActiveCount100 and ActiveCount100H viable samplers from Lighthouse Worldwide Solutions. Today, we will be learning how to enter general instrument settings. To access the settings menu, simply press on the bulleted list icon on the main screen. The settings menu allows you to adjust the date, the time, general options. It allows you to see the instrument status, adjust compressed gas sampling, which we will be covering in a separate video, calibrate the instrument, which is password protected, and access additional information about the instrument. First, we will enter the local date. Enter the current date as specified on the date screen. The date format is year, followed by month, followed by the day. Enter 4 digits for the year, 2 digits for the month, and 2 digits for the day. We can delete the characters that we just entered by pressing the backspace button. We can cancel out of the screen without saving any changes by pressing the X button. Or we can enter our changes by pressing the Enter key. This will also take us back to the settings menu. Next, we will enter the local time. Always enter the local time in 24-hour format. For example, if your local time is 1 p.m., add 12 hours to that and enter the time as 1300 hours. Enter 2 digits for the hours, 2 digits for the minutes, and 2 digits for the seconds. Again, we can delete the characters that we just typed in by pressing the backspace button. We can cancel out of the screen without saving any changes by pressing the X button. Or we can enter the new time by pressing the Enter key. And this will also take us back to the settings menu. Next on the settings menu, we have additional options. The options include the time format, which can be 12 hours or 24 hours, the date format, which can be month, day, or year, day, month, or year year, month, and day. We also have adjustments for the speaker volume and the screen brightness. Simply press on the left and right arrows to increase or decrease the speaker volume and screen brightness. To save the changes, we press the check mark button, or to cancel, we press the X button. Let's save these changes and return back to the settings menu. Next, we have the status screen. If at any point you find a flag icon appear on the main screen, you will enter the status screen to find out the reason for the warning. Here we have diagnostics for USB memory, calibration, temperature, and battery health. Let's take a look at an example. If I remove the USB flash memory, I will see a flag icon appear on the screen. If you see the flag icon appear on the main screen, go back to the settings menu, click on the status screen, and the status screen will indicate the cause of the warning. Here it says the USB memory is not found. Next, we have the gas sampling adjustment. We will cover compressed gas sampling in a separate video. Next, we have service access. Service access is password protected and is used for instrument calibration. On the bottom of the settings menu, we have an additional button to view instrument information. This information screen includes the model name, serial number, flow rate, calibration dates, and firmware versions. Press OK to return back to the settings menu. This concludes our training video on the settings functions of the ActiveCount100 and ActiveCount100H from Lighthouse Worldwide Solutions. For more information, visit our website at www.golighthouse.com. Thank you for watching. Hi, welcome to the ActiveCount100 training video series. This tutorial applies to both the ActiveCount100 and ActiveCount100H viable samplers from Lighthouse Worldwide Solutions. Today we'll be learning how to configure the various sampling modes and sampling parameters. To access the configuration screen, click on the gear or cog button on the main screen. The ActiveCount100 features 3 sampling modes: constant mode, periodic mode, and compressed gas mode. Let's configure a constant mode sample. Click on the mode button until you see the word constant appear. In constant mode, the instrument will sample continuously for the desired target volume. Let's select a target volume. We can choose to select one of these 8 presets, or we can enter a new target volume by holding down the preset button for 1 to 2 seconds. You can enter a new target volume anywhere from 20 liters to 6,000 liters. Next, we will be selecting our delay time. The delay time represents the time between the moment you press the start button and the time at which the instrument actually starts sampling. Now let's return to the home screen to view our configuration. On the main screen, we see our desired target volume of 1,000 liters. And because we're in constant mode, that 1,000 liters can be sampled in 10 minutes. We also have a 5-second delay time. Now let's go back to the configuration screen and set up a periodic sample. Click on the mode button until you see the word periodic appear. In periodic mode, we also have, in addition to the volume and delay, we have sample time and sample cycles. In periodic mode, the target volume is broken up into a certain number of cycles. In this example, we have 1,000 liters, which is broken up into 4 separate 250-liter subsamples. The purpose of periodic mode is to sample your target volume in an extended period of time. So if we want to monitor a batch that lasts for 1 hour, we can select sample time of 1 hour, and we can sample 4 periodic subsamples that are distributed evenly over the course of 1 hour. Now let's return to the main screen to view our configuration. Here we have our target volume is still 1,000 liters. However, our target time is 1 hour and 5 seconds. So our 1,000 liters, instead of taking 10 minutes, will now take 1 hour to sample. We also see our sample cycles. Here we have 0 cycles out of 4 cycles. The third sampling mode is gas sampling mode, which we will cover in a separate video. Lastly, on the configuration screen, we have the ability to lock in our configuration settings. Press on the lock button at the bottom of the screen to access the security menu. On the security screen, we see that we can enable or disable our password protection. And we have the ability to enter a custom password. So to enable password protection for the configuration menu, enable the lock button and click on the pen button to enter a new password. You can enter a password of up to 12 characters. I will be entering a simple password, 123, and saving that password. And now what I have done is I've enabled password protection, and I've chosen a password 123. Now when I go back to the main screen, I see that the configuration button has changed. Instead of having 3 gears, now it has 2 gears and the lock button. That represents that our configuration is locked and nobody else can change it unless they have our password. So to return to the configuration menu, I have to enter our password. and now we have access to the configuration menu. This concludes our training video of the ActiveCount100 configuration settings. For more information, visit our website at www.golighthouse.com. Thank you for watching. Hi, welcome to the ActiveCount100 training video series. This tutorial applies to both the ActiveCount100 and ActiveCount100H from Lighthouse Worldwide Solutions. Today we'll be learning how to sample compressed gases. To sample compressed gases, you will need the compressed gas adapter. Before you start compressed gas sampling, you will want to verify that the flow rate is exactly 100 liters per minute. To sample compressed gases, go to the configuration menu and select compressed gas mode. Once you have selected compressed gas mode, select the volume of air you wish to sample. When you go back to the main menu, you will see a meter that represents your flow rate. In compressed gas mode, the ActiveCount100 will not be able to regulate flow rate, so you will have to regulate flow rate using the valve on the compressed gas adapter. To find the initial position of the valve, go to the settings menu and go to gas sample. This is where you will adjust the flow rate and find the initial position of the valve. And then follow the instructions on the screen. The first step is to remove the compressed gas adapter and allow the unit to sample room air. Then you'll wait for 10 seconds and allow the unit to sample compressed air. Then follow the instructions on the screen. Attach the adapter and turn on your compressed air source. Here I have a compressed dry air, and I will use my valve on the compressed dry air line as a coarse adjustment to my flow rate. And I will monitor the instrument and try to achieve a 0% error on the flow rate. Once you get pretty close to that, you can then use the smaller valve on the adapter to achieve 0% error. And so you can rotate this clockwise to decrease the flow rate or counterclockwise to increase the flow rate. And so I'm going to be increasing the flow rate until I see a green check mark here instead of this red X. So once I have achieved 0% error, then I can start to perform a compressed gas sample. Once you're done with this screen, you can go back to the main screen and start an actual sample, because on the main screen then we have our countdown timer, and we also have the ability to create data records. So we can stop this and go back to the home screen or the main screen, and we see that we're approximately at 0% error, and we have initial position of the valve, so we don't need to adjust the valve anymore. Once we're back on the main screen, then we can go ahead and remove the impactor head so that we can insert the Petri dish. Then remove the lids from the Petri dish, attach the impactor heads, and press the start button. And now we're sampling compressed gas at the correct flow rate. Now, typically when you're sampling room air, you can walk away from the instrument at this point. But when we're sampling compressed gas, you'll want to stand by the instrument and ensure that the flow rate remains at the correct 100 liters per minute. If you start to lose pressure in your gas line, then you'll want to adjust the valve and ensure that you're always at the correct flow rate. If you do go out of range, then the sample will be aborted. So let me show you what happens if the sample is aborted. You will get a red light here, the instrument will beep, and you will get a message that says the sample has been aborted, so you'll need to start over and get a new petri dish. So ensure that this does not happen, so you'll want to stand by the instrument and ensure that the flow rate does not go out of range. That concludes our training video for compressed gas sampling on the ActiveCount100 and ActiveCount100H. For more information, visit our website at www.golighthouse.com. Thank you for watching.